yeah, straight drop got his ass beat up in jail. On some mob by my.
Young Dolph's killer, Straight Drop, just found out the hard way that the streets don't play with snitches. Word is he was killed in jail, and now new evidence suggests Yo Gotti might have had something to do with it. I've got all the details, so let's break it down. When beef turns deadly, it's clear the Yo Gotti and Young Dolph feud is far from over, it just got darker. Straight Drop, the man convicted of killing Young Dolph, was murdered behind bars. Now people are connecting the dots. Did Yo Gotti use his street ties to silence the one man who snitched on his brother and his label? To understand how deep this goes, we have to rewind. This didn't start with a murder. It started with legacy, power struggle, and a rivalry that was always going to end in blood. The situation between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph kicked off around 2014, and it wasn't just about music. This was about respect, territory, and who really ran the 901. Young Dolph, real name Adolph Thornton Jr., was a hungry talent from South Memphis who had the nerve to tell the city's longtime king he didn't need his blessing, his label, or his protection. Gotti reportedly tried to sign Dolph to CMG Collective Music Group, but Dolph rejected him hard. Instead of joining Gotti, he stayed independent and built his own empire with Paper Route Empire. In most places, that's business. But in Memphis, that's personal. Pride and street credibility mean everything, and disrespect can get you killed. What made this rejection so bold wasn't just the no, it was how Dolph doubled down. When he dropped that King of Memphis album in 2016, it was like a declaration of war. Gotti had been calling himself the king of the city for years. Then here comes Dolph basically saying, I'm taking your throne. In the hood, that kind of move gets you touched, and everyone knew it. The beef escalated from rap battles to real gunfire fast. In February 2017, Dolph's car was hit with over 100 bullets in Charlotte, North Carolina. He survived only because his SUV was bulletproof. He was so prepared for war, his ride was reinforced like a presidential convoy. Black Youngsta, one of Gotti's top artists, got arrested for that shooting. But just like that, charges were dropped. No witnesses, no testimony. A few months later, someone tried again, this time in Los Angeles. Dolph was shot multiple times outside a hotel. Corey McClendon, one of Gotti's people, got arrested for attempted murder. But again, the case went nowhere. No snitches, no justice. But the pattern was clear: someone with power and reach wanted Dolph dead and wasn't stopping. What's wild is how systematic it was. This wasn't a bunch of hot-headed kids fighting over corners. It was calculated, organized, professional. Every hit felt like a message. Fall in line or fall altogether. Even though the LAPD cleared Gotti as a person of interest, the streets had already decided who they believed was behind it. Memphis has always been different when it comes to street politics and rap. The energy in that city, it's intense. Success breeds jealousy, and jealousy turns to gunfire. Dolph understood that better than most. That's why he always moved sharp, always strapped, always watching his back.
It's like, got it cool, ain't no problems with him. You know what I'm saying? It's really basically just Memphis. It's like a Memphis relationship. You know, the past, the history of Memphis. Feel what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's like Ballin' G36. Man, you add me coming from Memphis, being from Memphis, liking both of their music. I'm like, man, they should have made a whole lot of more hits together.
That wasn't just talk. Yo Gotti straight up denied any link to Young Dolph's murder back in 2017. No cap. He kept it real, or so it seemed. But what if I told you he might have let the truth slip without even realizing it? Yep, the game flipped when a wild twist hit the net. Gotti didn't even notice the camera was still rolling when he dropped some heavy tea about what really went down. Before the feds lock this case up for good, let me break it down for you, because what's allegedly caught on that footage might just be Gotti snitching on himself in the Young Dolph case. Let's talk about this so-called confession. Word on the street? Yo Gotti got caught slipping, supposedly running his mouth about Dolph's murder. When Dolph got gunned down in November 2021, the streets lit up with rumors and theories. But things really hit the fan after Gotti's brother Big Juke got jumped. What many are calling payback for Dolph's death. That's when the internet went crazy. Even though nothing's confirmed yet, the streets have been buzzing. The big question? Did Yo Gotti really get caught on camera admitting he greenlit the hit on Young Dolph? Rumors about these recordings are all over the place. Some say they exist, others call it cap. But here's what we do know. During the trial of Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, one of the alleged triggermen, testimony came out saying a $100,000 bounty was put on Dolph's head. And that bag? Allegedly dropped by none other than Big Juke, Gotti's brother. That wasn't just hearsay, it was laid out in court by actual witnesses, making it way more real than the usual street talk. Even Boosie Badazz chimed in after Straight Drop got sentenced. And you know, if Boosie's talking, people are listening.
Oh, that was your friend?
Yeah, that was my boy.
Well, in the trial, in the Justin Johnson Straight Drop trial, They say the Juke had a 100K hit.
The wildest part about this so-called bounty, it's the insane gap between the 100K bag supposedly dropped on Dolph's head and what the actual shooter allegedly walked away with. Boosie didn't miss a beat. He called that out quick. He put the spotlight right on that shady detail, like how you put 6 figures on a man's life, but the dude pulling the trigger barely sees a cut.
$800 for that hit. Can you imagine killing somebody and your reward is a PlayStation? And maybe a game or two?
You don't know if that's true or not, bro.
We don't know if it's true, but it's not.
This testimony linked Gotti's circle to the hit, but it put the heat squarely on Big Juke, not Gotti himself. Still, when Big Juke got smoked later on, it looked like straight-up street justice. A brutal getback for Dolph's murder. That hit sent a loud message. A lot of folks in Memphis clearly believed there was a real connection between Dolph's death and Gotti's crew. Then came Terrence "Gangster" Williams, dropping serious game in an interview, breaking down what might have led to Big Juke's murder and why it went down the way it did.
Man was killed, or telling them I'm gonna pay y'all bill. I know y'all. So it's like when you get up there, man, you gotta keep in mind you got the other people looking like, what y'all gonna do? Y'all ain't gonna. So now you testing these guys' manhood. Just because the world don't see them, but the homies, the people know.
If these supposed recordings of Yo Gotti talking about the hit really exist and could actually be proven legit, that'd be a game-changing move in tying Gotti straight to the murder. But here's the deal. Unless the cops or the DA step up and confirm these tapes or bring them into court, it's all just talk. Straight cap for now. Gotti, for his part, has stayed solid on his denial. He's been clear from day one. No involvement in Dolph's murder. Back when Dolph got shot in LA before that fatal ambush in Memphis, Gotti pulled up on the Breakfast Club looking visibly fed up. He was tight that people kept throwing his name in the mix every time some violence went down.
No issue. Yeah. I ain't got no issue. Like, it probably was the second or third time I've been up here and said the same thing.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I ain't got no issue. You know what I mean? I don't have issue.
How does this affect business though? Because then stories like this get out and, clearly young Dolph must feel something because of the album that he put out afterward and everything.
Because it mess with the money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Gotti even came with receipts on that interview, pulled out his phone and showed the last text he ever sent to Dolph way back in 2012. And get this, it wasn't beef, it wasn't shade, it was actually supportive. That message painted a whole different picture than what the streets had been saying.
Yeah, what's the date?
August 24th, 2012.
That's 5 years ago.
That's how you gotta approach this, homie. Just gotta stay down and make the right decisions, and you can win big money. You in a good space in Memphis, but you gotta take that from there to the world, and it's gonna turn into money. I like your grind, man. When I was in your position, none of them who could have helped me did. Our city f***ed up, homie, and I'm trying to stop letting history repeat itself and show we can get money together and everybody be on some ball because I gotta make sure no matter.
The case around young Dolph's murder is still unfolding. Law enforcement's been grinding, determined to bring everyone involved to justice. Yeah, a few key players are already behind bars, some even convicted, including the triggermen. But there's still a cloud over the bigger question: who really called the play and why? As new details slowly come to light, the full story behind the hit on Dolph is still piecing itself together. And with a case this deep, you've got to separate solid facts from internet cap. The murder of young Dolph, November 17th, 2021. A date Memphis and hip-hop won't forget. Around 1 p.m., Dolph pulled up to Makita's homemade butter cookies, his go-to spot when he was back home. A normal day, until two masked hitters rolled up and let the fangs loose. They fired through the front window, fatally hitting the 36-year-old rapper. It was a broad daylight ambush, raw and ruthless. Security footage showed the gunmen masked up, strapped heavy, standing outside the shop. Moments later, they dipped off in a white Mercedes-Benz. The entire city felt that shot, so did the rap game. Dolph, real name Adolph Thornton Jr., was more than a rapper. He was one of the coldest independent hustlers in the game, known for his no-cap lyrics and boss-level mindset. Dolph built his paper route empire from the ground up, and when a $22 million label deal hit the table, he curved it to keep ownership of his masters. That's rare, that's power. By January 2022, police had two suspects, Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, and Cornelius Smith. Straight Drop talked tough on social media, claiming he'd turn himself in. He didn't. Instead, U.S. Marshals caught him out in Indiana. More names got thrown in the mix. Hernandez Govan, who allegedly called the hit. Shundale Barnett, picked up as an accessory after the fact. When Justin Johnson finally faced trial, he got hit with life behind bars, plus 50 years. That sentence showed how calculated the hit was, and how deep the pain ran in the community. But even with one of the shooters buried under the jail, the wound left by Dolph's murder still bleeds. And the streets? Still tense. Because Dolph wasn't just another name in rap. He was a real one, a father, a community builder, a voice that resonated beyond the mic. He gave back heavy to Memphis, from Thanksgiving turkey drives to the annual IDM Family Foundation Day. Named after his grandmother, Dolph stayed tapped in with his people. He hit up schools to drop gems on the next generation, preaching self-reliance, empire building, and owning your lane. And behind the chains and fly whips, he was a devoted father to his son and daughter. On The Breakfast Club, he opened up about what fatherhood meant to him, how he wanted to give his kids everything he never had coming up.
Let kids make all the decisions like you doing it wrong. You got to help them make their decisions. You got to mold them into what they want to be in the future when they 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Dolph's come up? Man, it was anything but easy. He was mostly raised by his grandma, holding it down while his parents battled their own demons. In an interview, Dolph kept it raw. He talked about what that upbringing taught him, how it shaped his grind and turned him into the man he became.
It was cocaine and alcohol. You know what I mean? And alcohol, that is more stronger than the cocaine. You know what I mean? People can't shake that. And as I got older, I figured it out, you know what I mean? So it's like I miled down at first, like I didn't even want nothing to do with my mom and dad. You know what I mean? Because I felt like they chose it over their kids.
Dolph's early struggles lit the fire behind his hustle. Growing up with his grandma while his parents fought their own demons gave him a mindset built on survival and success. That same pain pushed him to be the father he never had. So when Dolph got murdered, it wasn't just a rap career that got cut short. It was 2 kids losing their dad. That's the part that hits hardest. The investigation into the hit uncovered some grim details. According to court testimony, there was allegedly a $100,000 price on Dolph's head, money reportedly put up by Yo Gotti's brother, Big Juke. But here's the wild part. Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, one of the alleged shooters, he supposedly only got $800 for pulling the trigger. $800 for ending the life of a man who built an empire. He basically got finessed while doing someone else's dirty work. A massive gap between the alleged bounty and what the shooter actually pocketed raises some serious questions. Where did the rest of that money go? Did the full $100,000 ever even change hands? And more importantly, who else was involved in moving the pieces behind the scenes? This wasn't just a hit, it was a bigger play. The low payout, the connections, and the aftermath all suggest there's a deeper web of people involved than just the dudes pulling the trigger. Then came the next body. Big Juke, Yo Gotti's brother, got killed. And to the streets, it looked like straight-up get back. People close to Dolph clearly believed Gotti's camp had some kind of role in setting the hit in motion. That sparked a cycle of retaliation and bloodshed, tearing through the city and leaving more families broken. But Dolph wasn't just a rapper or a target. He was a provider. He fed a lot of mouths through his music, his business moves, and his leadership. His success was bigger than just music. It was life-changing for the people around him. As Boozy Badaz pointed out after the dust settled, Dolph's death didn't just shake the game. It ripped a hole through his whole community.
Man, we gotta... You know how many people miss Dolph and miss Big Juke? We fed a lot of people, but we just, we as on the outside looking in, we just think about that a couple of days and whatever else on social media after that, but they families, they children, they brothers and they cousins, people hurt for that.
The loss of young Dolph hit way deeper than just his fans and family. It shook the entire Memphis community. People there took pride in his success and felt the impact of his generosity firsthand. His death isn't just about losing a talented artist, it's about losing a role model, a provider, and a real positive force in the hood. As the investigation into Dolph's murder moves forward, everyone's hoping for full justice. The shooters are locked up and convicted, but the big questions remain. Who really pulled the strings? What were their true motives? Young Dolph's legacy lives on, through his music and the culture he helped shape. His dedication to independence and owning his masters still inspires a new wave of artists who refuse to sign away their rights to major labels. But his tragic death is a stark reminder. This game isn't just about diss tracks or social media shots. When beef escalates beyond bars and tweets, the consequences get real and deadly. The beef that led to tragedy. To understand how things got so messy between young Dolph and Yo Gotti, you've got to trace the roots of their beef. What started as competition between 2 Memphis rappers eventually spiraled into something fatal. Dolph was grinding hard, building his paper route empire from nothing. Born in Chicago but raised in Memphis, he made waves with real trap stories and boss moves. In an interview with Abram in the Morning, Boosie Badazz shared a wild story about how Dolph got started, saying that Boosie himself was one of his biggest inspirations.
My flowers on stage at a concert. Yeah, he gave me my flowers on stage. Said I'm the first rapper that made him want rap. 2006, I came down there. I had black two-door Bentley on them 20s, and I was looking for weed out there, and Dolph sold me 2 ounces of weed. Pull up, sell me 2 ounces of weed, and you know, when I pull off in that black Bentley, he say, man, this got all this I'm rapping, I'm finna rap.
Boosie Badazz continued, dropping more insight on Dolph's rise, how the grind started from the ground up and how much heart the man put into his music and his legacy. He broke down the realness behind Dolph's journey, showing respect for how Dolph stayed true to himself and his roots, no matter the odds.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like this, like Yo Gotti was one of the first ones, he might been the first one to come like, man, dog, let's do a paper route in CMG. You know what I mean? Like, that's my label. The only reason I didn't do it, like, I could have went over there and got what got it and got the co-signer and sped my whole process up. But at the same time, I couldn't do it because I had too much of my own money and too much of my own time invested into it. So
Yo Gotti, real name Mario Mims, was already a heavyweight in the Memphis game when Dolph started making noise. He'd been dropping heat since the mid-90s and built his own label, Collective Music Group, CMG. Memphis wasn't a huge scene, so it was only a matter of time before these two ambitious hustlers crossed paths. At first, it didn't seem like there was any real drama between them. In fact, young Dolph himself revealed something surprising. Early on, Yo Gotti actually reached out to Dolph, showing interest in signing him to CMG. Dolph opened up about this during an interview on The Breakfast Club, dropping that unexpected piece of the story.
Hear this record, and they're gonna think that you're talking crap about Gotti and these other cats.
They dropped this mixtape on 10/17 and try to like ride my wave. You know what I'm saying? Like he was an artist of mine and we get some kind of money together. So I just felt like, you know, for an artist to drop their mixtape on 10/17, you know what I'm saying? Which is my label on the day that I drop all my label they drop their mixtape on 10/17. Why would you drop it if you ain't on 10/17? And when I call you as my partner to ask you why you did, you say, oh, I didn't know you were dropping the mixtape. Now the whole world know I'm dropping this mixtape, I'm promoting this mixtape.